Everyone has that one show they loved as a child. I personally loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Danny Phantom, and many more shows. These shows influence us even as we grow. Buffy taught me as a child to be strong, to fight, and to fight for what I love. But most of those shows have dark theories that we sometimes don't dare to look at in order to keep our childhood intact. But here I am to ruin your childhood and mine. Enjoy, my little freaks.
What did you do, little girl? Sounds like the walls of me.
Number 1. Buffy the Vampire Slayer isn't really a slayer. This is a theory I've been thinking about since I first watched a certain episode in Buffy. This episode was season 6 and the 16th episode titled Normal Again. In this episode, Buffy is injected with a venom from a demon which makes her believe her slayer life is a figment of her imagination. In this episode, we see Buffy talking to her parents in a mental hospital. But Buffy's mom had died in the series in season 5, her father was out of the picture, and through supernatural forces, Buffy had a sister named Dawn. In the alternate world, none of this happened. Buffy never moved to Sunnydale, she never had a sister. Instead, she one day just had a breakdown. Buffy's parents desperately tried getting Buffy back, as she had been non-responsive for years. At the end of the episode, Buffy says one last goodbye to her mother as she caresses her mother's cheek and was brought back to Sunnydale with her friends and her sister in danger. The camera shows an unresponsive Buffy Summers as her mother cries and her father holds her mother. So the theory is that Buffy was never a slayer. This episode only backs it up. Buffy created a world inside of her mind to cope with a traumatic experience that is unknown. She felt weak, and she felt the need to make herself a strong person with caring friends, a sister, but issues of her life seeped into her world. Buffy had the chance to escape, to be with her parents, but she gave up and never responded again to anyone who attempted to interact with her. Buffy was never a slayer, but only a troubled girl. Number 2. Danny Phantom is Timmy Turner from the Fairly OddParents. This is a theory I don't really believe, but some people do. Now, there are multiple variations of this theory, but the main theory is Timmy Turner wishes for something that sends him into a different dimension. Timmy is now Danny Phantom, a teenage boy with ghost hunting parents. Tootie is now Danny's gothic friend who later dates him. Trixie is the popular high school girl who Danny likes, etc. However, there are a lot of differences, like Danny doesn't wear the same hat, he doesn't really talk or dress like Timmy, and a whole lot of other things, like Tootie does not act the same way as the gothic friend that Danny later dates. But it is a fun theory to think about. This theory might not be as stark as others, but it still kinda is a mind effort if you think about it. What if we were looking at an older version of one of our favorite TV show characters as a superhero? Number 3, Bikini Bottom is a radioactive wasteland. This theory is a little far-fetched at first, but when you think about it more, it kinda messes with you. The reason fish can walk, have a civilization, and seem to have average human intelligence is because the island above the city used to be a nuclear plant, and radiation had evolved the fish further than any other fish. That is why they have concepts of jobs, history, math, school, seasons, etc. It gets more chilling when you find out there was indeed a chemical plant with the title of Bikini Bottom. Again, this theory seems far-fetched, but it is chilling to think about our favorite cartoon sponge really being a mutated sea sponge who lives in a radioactive wasteland under the sea. Number 4, Fairly OddParents are antidepressants. Timmy isn't the average kid. In this theory, it suggests that the lovable Cosmo and Wanda are really metaphors for antidepressants' effects. Cosmo is the drug known as Zoloft and Wanda is Prozac, both commonly used antidepressants. Timmy depends on Cosmo and Wanda to the point where it's a little obsessive. He doesn't want to get rid of them because they make him happy. They grant his wishes, which makes him happy, but the wishes have consequences. This is when Timmy uses his medication too much and relies on it, creating an addiction. It hints this fact in the theme song. No one understands Mom and Dad and Vicky always giving him commands. This is something a lot of kids with depression suffer, the feeling that everyone is yelling at them or commanding them, and that no one understands. But does this mean that the other children fairies are also depressed? It would make sense since a lot of them show signs of depression. Number 5. Katara was supposed to be the next Avatar. We all know the cycle in Avatar: The Last Airbender and how it repeats with every Avatar. Water, earth, fire, and air. What if Aang never froze? Who would take his place in the next 100 years? Could it have been Katara? She was someone who possessed traits and qualities of any Avatar. She was the last waterbender of the Southern Water Tribe. So does this mean Korra would have never been an Avatar? Would Zuko have never teamed up with the gang? Would the Fire Nation have won? Would Katara fight the Fire Nation as well as Aang? Well, we'll never know, because Aang lived, and we are left with Korra as the next Avatar as Aang passed. If I ruined your childhood, tell me in the comments below. Also, tell me ideas for new Frightening 5 videos and your thoughts on this video. Check out my side channel where I talk about YouTubers, political issues, and stupid people in general. If you like content like this, go ahead and sub to me. I make videos like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And as always, stay freaky, my little freaks. I'll see you next time.